Islam Makhachev is preparing for his first ever shot at UFC Gold when he faces Charles Oliveira later this year. Like the majority of MMA fans, Terrence McKinney has had his say on how he sees the fight playing out.
I'll have to go with Charles, man. The champ, the name is Charles Oliveira. He's a champ in my eyes. I don't care what anyone says. He faced adversity and still went out there and put on an incredible performance and got the win. I just think it's his time, and it'd be sick as hell if he got Khabib to come back. So, rightfully so, everyone should want him to win so we can see that fight.
During an interview with Brendan Schaub, Michael Chandler detailed the moment his relationship with Dustin Poirier turned sour. Despite them once being cordial with one another, the 36-year-old was already a massive name in MMA before making the jump over to the UFC last year. He has seen his value grow since arriving in the octagon.
History, right?
I don't think.
Or
no, we don't have a history. But here's what we do have. We had immense amount of respect, followed by immense amount of disrespect on microphones, followed by, okay, I guess we don't like each other anymore, which, you know, we came in, my last fight in Bellator, August of 2020, whatever, I'm fighting Benson Henderson. He's a cornering one of his buddies. Shake it up, dab it up, dude. Big fan of you, dude. Love the way you fight. You're a good dude outside the octagon, a savage inside, blah, blah, blah.
Good dad, great dad.
Yeah, then a couple,
so many common things.
And he was saying that kind of stuff about me as well in my career. Then I come over to the UFC, and then obviously on the microphone, hey, if they want me to fight Chandler, I'd rather just sell hot sauce. I'm like, okay. That's completely different than what we, you know, and I get it. For him, he's a guy who's been in the UFC for what, a decade and a half or whatever. I'm the new guy. So it's hard because you're playing the emotion, you're playing the actual physical fights, you're playing the chess of divisions and who is who. I come in, finish Dan Hooker in 2.5 minutes, which he couldn't do in 25 minutes. Yeah. So doing backflips, calling people out, saying his name, saying Conor's name. So I get
ruffled
it.
some feathers.
Yeah. I mean,
but also I don't.
Dana White has once again dismissed rumors of a rematch between Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather. According to White, McGregor and Mayweather are merely trading barbs on social media.
Second question for me, there's a lot of talk now ratcheting up between McGregor and Floyd Mayweather.
All bullshit. Those guys are just talking on social media like they do. The Daily Mirror or whatever the hell that tabloid is called is full of the shit.
What would it take for you to get involved in that conversation?
Dementia.
Hey, Dana.
Dana White is a pretty hands-on president at the UFC. The boss is outspoken, disregards diplomatic norms at times, and yields more authority at the promotion than anyone else. But perhaps even he cannot fathom doing this.
Thanks, Dana.
Yep.
Hopefully this is a fun one. Over the weekend, ACA manager or promoter went into the octagon and stopped a fight because it was boring. Was wondering if you've ever...
What happened? Who did this?
So the ACA promoter went into the octagon, or the cage, in the middle of a fight.
Did you say Issei?
ACA.
ACA, okay.
Because the fight was boring, he wasn't enjoying it. Went in and disqualified both fighters. I'm just curious.
That is fucking awesome. That is props to that guy. Yes. Highly, incredibly unprofessional, but fucking awesome at the same time. Was it really a boring fight?
I think so, yeah. I didn't see it.
Yeah, well, that gives me some fucking ideas for next Tuesday. Believe me, there's been days that I've wanted to throw a chair in there. But yeah, you just gotta sit there and take it. Or get up and go to the back and sit in your room.
It looks like it's heavy sparring season at Tiger Muay Thai. In a recently surfaced video, Petr Yan and number 2 ranked flyweight Kai Kara France can be seen trading heavy shots. UFC Hall of Famer Daniel Cormier is desperate to know who Dustin Figuerito has annoyed backstage in order for the UFC to book an interim flyweight title bout.
What in the heck did Dustin Figuerito do to somebody to have an interim title fight 5 months down the line? This dude must have pissed some people off in some really high positions for these guys to be fighting for an interim title because he just won that belt back in March. I think they wanted him and Moreno to fight again. It obviously didn't happen. But when I look at the matchup, it's fun. Two very solid fighters, two really good stand-up fighters, and a new champion will be crowned. And if Moreno gets the belt, if he wins this interim title, it will feel very real because there was a big portion of fans that felt like he had beaten Deiveson Figueiredo in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So
Dana White believes Khamzat versus Diaz will make for a barn-burner of a fight, but remains unsure whether he wants to hold a promotional press conference featuring the pair during a recent interaction with Robbie Fox on the My Mom's Basement podcast.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's a fight that people want to see. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun, and imagine the energy in the place when those two walk.
Is there going to be plans to do like a press conference with those two? Because I really want to see that as a fan.
That I don't know off the top of my head. I'll have to talk to this one up there about that one. But, you know, you got a Diaz brother and a guy from friggin' Russia. I don't know about how easy it will be to pull off a press conference, but we'll see.
On episode 412 of Believe You Me, Bisping and former UFC light heavyweight title challenger Anthony Smith discussed the fallout from UFC London. Pimblett's victory was understandably a big event takeaway.
However, the way that he finished it was spectacular. I mean, I don't think it's since BJ Penn versus Jens Pulver have we seen someone take the back like that, use the body triangle to tie up one of the arms, because you're fucked. You cannot getting out of a body triangle is bad enough. When you got one of your arms thrown in the mix as well, I mean, it's almost impossible. Poor old Jordan Levy, he was a sitting duck from that moment on.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think that
Dana White is constantly questioned about UFC fighter pay, and the answer is usually the same. White deservingly takes credit for making the sport what it is today. However, the idea of some fighters in the world's #1 MMA organization struggling to get by is an issue.
It's not that they hold it over my head. What drives them crazy is they don't know. They don't like the fact that they don't know. They want to know fucking everything. Like in all these other sports, you know, you find out. I mean, we're already hearing what's going on with the negotiations with the Boston Celtics and possibly Durant and all this other. I don't tell these fucking people anything ever. You know what they know? What I tell them. And I tell them nothing because I can't stand them and I don't trust them.
Yeah. Well, hey, I think a lot of people would point to a lot of situations that happened throughout your run here as president and say, hey, Dana makes a lot of sense for why he feels that way. Do you think, though?
Khamzat coach Andreas Michael recently shared his thoughts on Boer's upcoming bout with Nate Diaz.
I think that the fans are a bit like delusional sometimes, honestly. Like, I'm honest with you, like, because it gets me so vexed. Like, Nate lost like 4.5 rounds, to be honest with you. Yeah. Or have I seen a fight? Are we looking at a different fight? You know, like Nate lost 4.5 rounds, didn't he?
Oh, 100%, absolutely.
He dominated that fight, absolutely.
Yeah, so Leon dominated that fight.
Yeah.
So like, it's crazy that like one micro, as they said to Alex about the John Jones testing positive for like, what was it, micro whatever, like which is like this much, so it doesn't count if it's like in the blood, okay?
Yeah.
Like one micro whatever moment in a fight, that like we can even talk about that micro moment, you know, that millisecond, we can even talk about that. Like, so this is what I'm saying, like you cannot judge a fight by one like moment.